Hey guys, welcome back to Dead Cells. Today we are going to be playing Brutality again, but we're actually going to be playing it more like I usually like to play it this time. Instead of the slower, shielded approach, we're going to be going with the two-handed weapons, faster DPS, not two-handed weapons, but a main hand weapon and an offhand weapon to kind of get a faster, higher damage playstyle. It will let me just roll to avoid damage for the most part. So today we're looking at the blood sword, and somehow pick those both up at the same time. That's interesting. And this thing saw some buffs in patch 1.9, not directly, but just the way they changed the way that bleeding works, and I'll get to that in a second. But basically what we've got here is a weapon that swings really fast, but doesn't do a lot of upfront damage. And the idea is that you swing it really quickly so that you can build up a lot of bleed stacks on the enemy and ultimately do a lot of damage. So this was always kind of a love it or hate it type weapon. Very good in boss fights because once you start building up those bleed stacks, the damage does get really high. But in biomes, it's a lot less good because the upfront damage was low because you need the bleeds to tick to get a lot of damage. But in patch 1.9, they actually changed how bleeding works. So that now if you hit 5 bleed stacks, all the damage from those bleeds bursts at once and happens in a large burst of damage. So this thing is much better in biomes than it used to be. This guy's kind of terrifying. Couldn't really tell what was going on there, but it ended up working out. So yeah, like I said, the burst damage is a lot better now because of that. And it's actually had its bleeding mechanic changed a little bit too. So the bleed itself does less damage per tick, but it ticks for longer. So it's even more important to get the burst so you can get all of that damage out there. So it's kind of like the poster child for their new bleed mechanic. And I think because of that new mechanic, this weapon is actually quite a bit better than it used to be. Definitely a very strong weapon overall. Still very good at bosses, and now much, much better in biomes. And also, there's a really cool mutation that synergizes very well with it that we're going to be using today called Open Wounds that causes your melee attacks to apply bleeding stacks. And normally it's like, well, this already gives you bleeding stacks. Why would you go for a synergy or dot that you already have? Well, we're going to use that to get the stacks to burst faster, which will make our damage come out even more upfront. And we have another one of these. I got an Inquisitor at the same time. That's pretty enjoyable. Whew. That was a little tricky, but we got through it. Stick with this neck that we have right now. This is a pretty solid amulet. It's got all the stats that I want. So basically, because we get an extra stack per swing, and this thing swings super fast, we'll be able to get those bleeds to burst on the 3rd swing. So as long as you can hit a normal enemy with 3 swings, it's probably gonna die. So that's pretty bursty. And to try to control our enemies to make sure we can hit them with all 3 of those swings, we're gonna be taking a slow source as well. So you can either run the melee mutation, or alternatively, and what we're gonna be trying to do today, is get some ice shards. Because our damage is already good. Even though ice shards doesn't scale with brutality anymore, we'll still have fine damage while also being able to get that CC. And if we somehow get a source of oil, we can even use it for cooldown reduction too if we take instant to the Master of Arms, which we may or may not take. We'll kind of see how this run ends up going. And I am going to be going to sewers today, but we're still missing 1 scroll, so gotta go back, try to find that. Inquisitor looks like he's just been waiting for me over here. This whole time. What a guy. Leave no friend behind. And even though I'm not bursting these guys down too fast yet, you can see that the weapon is just so fast. I'm able to just apply a few hits and then run away until I need to come back. But we did reach a 60 streak, which we don't even have to get. It's only 30 kills if we killed the in the first biome, so it's nice to see, but not necessary. Yeah, 5 Brutality scrolls at this point. Our damage should be looking pretty good. And this is what I like to see, a weapon shop already, so let's see if we can't just find some nice shards right off the bat. And another thing you can do is, like I was saying, you can take throwing knife. Well, okay, so I didn't explain this yet, but instead of taking open wounds, you can take throwing knife to also try to stack the bleeds faster. And then you don't have to take open wounds, and you can take melee to help you control the enemies a little better. And this is a decent setup. It does give you more damage than the ice shards setup, but the CC isn't as good, and the damage doesn't really struggle anyway. So this would be like a better boss killing setup. But because the beginning of the game is so biome heavy, we're gonna hope for ice shards at first. And unfortunately, we did not get any. It's alright. And actually, another unfortunate thing about going the sewers route is that it only has one shop, so that might make it harder too. Maybe I should go promenade just for the sake. I think I will. I'll go promenade just for the sake of having more shops, so we can find ice shards, so I can be sure to show you guys this build that I'm wanting to show off. Maybe we can just find some in here. Wouldn't? Oh my god, would you look at that? Guess I didn't need to go promenade after all, but whatever, I'm here. It's happening. So now that we've got this, obviously, we're gonna bind them to the same button. And ice shards just disgustingly OP, especially with a fast weapon. You know, I tried it with a broadsword earlier, and it wasn't quite as good as I thought. And that's because you need to time your broadsword swings so well, although the slow is very useful for such a slow weapon. And now we'll take open wounds. But with this thing, you can just spam the attack button and not really worry about accidentally attacking too many times and putting yourself in an unfortunate situation. So honestly, I actually like ice shards better with fast weapons than slow weapons. As strange as that may seem, the CC is still really useful on fast weapons. And the thing about the open wounds mutation, it will give me a little extra damage. But mostly it's just about applying that bleed to begin. And he's rooted in there. This is weird. I actually couldn't grapple him to myself because he's rooted. And in this case of taking open wounds, though, like I said, it's not about getting the synergy. It's going to be all about getting those extra bleed stacks so we can burst the Blizzard. And my cat wants to walk in front of the screen. How you doing, little buddy? That's a good kitty, but we got to get back to the game, okay? Almost got hit by that elevator. Alright, now let's shoot for a better blood sword. So 30% bone, that's another thing ice shards can do for you, is that even though it's not going to do a lot of damage on its own, and my current blood sword already actually has this, we can take one that's even stronger. We'll have it providing synergy to increase the damage of blood sword even more. So that looks pretty solid. Launches a grenade. Bleeding causes poisoning though. Now this is just such a good blood sword if you can get it But I think that might be something we'll try to revisit later. For now, I'm going to go with the slowed down targets. That's just such an obvious and powerful synergy. But the thing about this run too is we're actually going to switch up our build once we get halfway through. Because like I was saying, the ice shards aren't really giving me much damage. And some bosses are like immune to slows entirely. Like Hand of the King, just totally immune. So typically when I get to around the second boss, and basically at that point you've got 3 boss biomes and 2 regular enemy biomes left in the game at that point, it's helpful to start swapping to a more boss-oriented build, and that's exactly what we're going to do when we get there. Also, Ice Shards just so good for taking out bats. Not that this thing really struggles against them, but Ice Shards are just, you know, they make it totally brainless. So far, we are definitely cruising. Now, let's go ahead and take that. Could use some better skills, probably. So, it would be nice if we could find a source of oil, because the ice shards would benefit from that, and we also have the blood sword dealing extra damage to burning oil. But we'd also need a fire source for that to really take off. But for now, let's look for a trap. This can help me get bleed stacks even faster as well, and it spreads oil and burns the ground when destroyed. So this looks really nice. I don't think I can complain about this. Yeah, like I said, even faster bleed stacks. I think we'll hang on to light speed. Grappling hook, not really my favorite weapon. It can be useful, but a lot of the time I feel like I'd rather just approach normally. Especially with having ice shards, I don't think we're going to have trouble with approaching enemies. These guys are just huge pain. Where? There's that protector. Just had to kite the elite away from him. That is a very slow jump. Guy looks like, I mean, those failed experiments kind of look like astronauts to begin with, but it practically looks like he's jumping on the moon right there. And we are going to go the sewers route still, but we are not going to take the optional prison biomes. We do want to make this run reasonably quick. Hopefully now that I've got all the explaining and stuff out of the way, I should be able to just cruise. And honestly, the blood sword is just carving through all these enemies like a knife and hot butter so far. And they get slowed, I pile up the bleed stacks, and they just explode. It's a nice combo. It's working well. Ooh, and a cursed chest. So that will definitely help make up for the fact that I had to come here instead of toxic sewers and possibly miss out on the score because of that. A death orb, colorless. I like Death Orb pretty well, but I don't think it's the right pick right now. Okay, ice armor showing up just when I need it. That's what I'm talking about. Gotta love ice armor. Now that it's colorless, it's just so good. Wait for you to get out of the way, my friend. And let's get to work. Just melted everything. It was nice to have ice armor for protection, but definitely not needed. It did make me feel a little more comfortable jumping into that giant group of guys, though. So I won't be able to go max scrolls route anymore because I came this way, but that's probably alright. Can we just lift the curse in here? That'd be nice. But it is possible to find a like, I guess the way the random scroll fragments work, it's not just pure luck, like finding a curse chest or a challenge rift. There are 3 guys back there, that's probably the move. Oh, there's a couple guys down there too, even. But I guess there are 3 random scroll fragments hidden across the biomes in every run. And so whether or not you see them just depends on whether or not you get lucky enough to have taken the right route. So hopefully that'll happen. If not, I mean, we did just get lucky with that curse chest, so I think we're going to be fine on scrolls. And as you can see, like, my damage output isn't bad. I'm not having really any trouble so far. I gotta stop saying stuff like this because now I'm just going to get hit. Maybe not. Maybe this build's just too good. Come on, okay. And I rolled right in front of that runner, and he still just couldn't do anything about it. It's pretty enjoyable just seeing those bleed stacks build up and enemies just drop. And I mean, you know, this build has a ton of damage. It has a ton of CC that pierces enemies and has good range because of the ice shards. It's super fast. Ice shards has, or not ice shards, but, well, yeah, ice shards are also super fast. But blood sword has one of the fastest combos in the game. Oh, you know what? I can't actually get to sewers from here unless I do take prison depths. So I am gonna have to go to prison depths. Going to promenade. Continuing to kind of bite me in the ass just a little bit. Not a big deal. I should have everything from in here though. Should be easy enough to deal with a curse chest with this combo. Look at this amulet too, how nice. No, definitely stick with what we got so far. This is a nice combination of skills in general, but also the ice armor just for the curse is so good. So we'll probably hang on to this ice armor until we've dealt with all the curses on the path and then drop it for something else. But for now, what do we want? Gastron? No, maybe not. I think Berserker. Berserker should be good for helping me maintain health and not take too much malice. Berserker is just bread and butter brutality. Frenzy too, but Bloodsword doesn't have that much upfront damage, so it's not going to be that powerful with Frenzy. That's a cool hemorrhage. I could actually take that thing as brutality. Really fast. The bleed stacks from the cleaver just ate that guy alive. when combined with the rest of my kit, of course. This is a pretty decent sized ball, so we're gonna wait just a second. Hop up, and we're good. And you know, this biome, these enemies have a ton. I'm still just like kind of going through them like hot knife and butter here. And not only are they dying fast, but they're slowed for so long. They can't even do anything, even if they weren't dying fast. This weapon is so good. So good. And Ice Shard, I mean, this really just kind of shows how busted Ice Shard is. I did have a little bit of problems with Ice Shards in that broadsword run, with it causing me to slow some bosses down in a way that made their attacks a little more difficult to dodge. That said, I still think Ice Shards is the best weapon in the game. You just want to make sure you take a route where you don't have to deal with that, or your damage is so high that it doesn't even matter that you have to deal with that. We don't need anything here. And that basically applies to Mama Tick and probably no one else. So just, I would recommend not fighting Mama Tick unless your damage is so high that you can just blow her up. Or you have an ice on her or something so you can just tank her. What you up to? Oh, you're an elite. Man. The enemies are so easy, I forget that they're elites. And I'm saying this in prison depths, too, which I have been calling the hardest part of the whole game. Just this build. So good. And it's like you can see the swings aren't really doing much damage, and then all of a sudden the entire health bar again just vanishes. Because he reached 5 blood stacks. What do we have here? An ice bow. That's cool. And 2-starred affixes, but I mean, have you seen how good this build is? Where are you? So someone is nearby. And you know, Bloodsword is super fast, but it also just has a good attack animation too. So like, Assassin's Dagger is super fast, but its range is so short that it can be a little frustrating. Rapier is super fast, but it has no vertical hitbox, which can also be frustrating. This thing, great speed, great horizontal range, great vertical range, great damage, great in biomes. Just a phenomenal weapon, and a super fun one too. Absolutely thinking Bloodsword, top tier weapon. Maybe not the absolute best weapon in the game, because there are a few other super, like Spite Sword, which was already absolutely insane, got buffed this patch for some reason, and Tonic works so well with it. It's hard to say Spite Sword is not the best weapon in the game. And then you've also got stuff that's just super good, like Frantic Sword and Valmont's Whip. So I don't know if I can put the Blood Sword above those, but I would even say this thing is better than like Sadist Stiletto now. Maybe even better than Oiled Sword. Like, this thing is just so awesome if you build it correctly. also, as bad as slows were against Mama Tick, the reason we're taking this route, even though I have a melee build, is first of all, this weapon's fast. So it's possible to catch up to Conjunctivius to kind of hit her. And also, my damage will keep ticking even if I can't stay on top of her. But slows are really good against Conjunctivius. So that is going to... Another bleeding causes poisoning sword. And it's like, I don't really need much more damage than I have in the biomes at this point. Oh, damage recover per attack. Man, this stuff is good. But this blood sword, I'm just going to go ahead and take it now. Yeah. No, I'm not. There will be more shops along the way. As you can, it seems like that affix isn't that rare on Bloodsword. To have seen it twice already. Maybe I'm just getting lucky. But I actually want that slowdown damage for Conjunctivius. Because we're not switching over to our boss killing build quite yet. And we're keeping ice armor for now. Which isn't going to contribute anything to my damage. And Cleaver is going to be hard to hit her with. So we're going to have to kind of do all the damage with the blood sword itself. And I think that's going to be alright. But at the same time, I do want to keep the plus 30% damage at least for those reasons. Whew. That guy was not wanting to die. Like, come on, I have a blood sword. Shouldn't you just die instantly? Come on. Come on now. I'm sorry, was that an elite? Like, what are you doing? I guess he was slow. Even though he was underground, the slow was still applying to him. There we go. About time we start finding some scrolls in here. I was just thinking to myself, the enemies could be exploding a little bit faster. Challenge Rift. Oh my god. This run is looking so solid right now. I'm actually not going to take it quite yet. Impalers or Inquisitors, or, you know, it's like Arbiters and Impalers are just the absolute worst, but Inquisitors are so much more common that they get all the hate. So, yeah, Inquisitors suck. There's no getting around it. I guess we'll take Tactics. And they are just throwing scrolls at me. To which I will say, oh, thank you. Alright, but let's get on with this challenge. Gained quite a bit of HP there. Going to gain even more once I get in this rift. There is a croissant out there, and this will give me a little more HP in here too. Well, obviously the scroll will, but then also this guy. And it gives me an extra jump. Yep, we're cruising. I'm recording right now, but I'm not streaming. Yep, and ice armor even good for challenge rifts. Just such a good item, especially in the early game. Ah, the traps can't see me. I'm invisible. Good thing I was able to stealth sneak past all those traps. It's like before I even initiate my swing, those bats just explode because the ice shards are so fast. Two kills away. Can't mess this up now. Look at all these scrolls. Love this. Absolutely crushing it on scroll count right now. Woo! Let's activate this ice armor before I get myself hit. There's the 60. Oh god. That's so much damage. That's so much damage. And I still have 5,000 HP. And another scroll. I'm going to be going into Conjunctivius with 16 Brutality. I like it. And it's still 3 of the off scrolls, too. And because of soldier resistance, my HP is in complete crap. Which is, at this point, it's given me 16% extra HP. Not bad. And I almost, I almost want to ditch Cleaver. Just for more damage for this boss, but there's really not anything here to take. Instinct. Don't even need that croissant. I think we are good to just continue. Run is off to a solid start, guys. Controller disconnected. Okay. See, I gotta stop just saying anything like that ever. Because the game knows. It's like, oh, I don't think so. You're gonna lose your controller connection right in the middle of the boss fight. But because of the high scroll count that we have for Brutality scrolls, I'm not really worried about my damage here. We'll see if that is an incorrect thing to not worry about in just a second. damage output is a little low, but not terrible. This is a very nice boss fight I saw on the floor too because of these tentacles. And the slows work on them too. Just sit in the top corner of the screen. I'm using the melee weapon. How's that supposed to be fair? How are you still not phasing? There it is. Oh, and the bleeding ticks seem to have finished Conjunctivius off. So yeah, you know, damage wasn't high, but I really wasn't getting anything from my skills. And you kind of have to chase her down sometimes. But that's alright. It went just fine. That'll take me all the way up to 18. So I guess we'll still go to the Sanctuary. Just in case we end up finding that extra scroll fragment somewhere along the way. It'll give me an extra scroll. An explosive crossbow. So unfortunately, not a very good weapon. Not like we would take it anyway. Again, this is a blood sword run. They really need to do something to make legendaries more exciting again, now that they don't give an extra scroll. Especially when you get something just terrible like explosive crossbow. Curse chest is, so it's nice to still have ice armor at this point. That might be nice to have just for now. Giving me plenty of Elise so far. None of them are allowed to do anything. Alright, this guy's holding on to a scroll for me. Okay, so we're at 4 survival scrolls and 3 tactic scrolls. But it looks more because I have that amulet giving me more scrolls. conveniently unlock these doors real quick and pop up here. Knife dance. Even more bleed. I may have to look into that after I've cleared the curse. That thing seems pretty nice. If I can just find this curse first, though. Good try, Leap. Good try. Nothing over there. And that's the only other portal I have unlocked. That is disappointing. Alright, well, let's just march ahead for now. Slightly scary. Somehow I activated it. I think my biters? Like, just a rough combination of affixes too, because I can't really capitalize and hit him right there. Because his line starts coming up, and I have to run away. Eventually, I believe he's gone. I like, if I feel like my HP is maybe dipping a little low, I like to try to get those extra off scrolls on the amulet so that I can drop them for damage later if I really need to. How many elites are in this place? Is that like the 5th at this point? Well, this was the wrong way to go. Where is the curse? Don't need anything there. I wonder if there's a route past this lore. No. Guys, I need 30 seconds. I will be right back. Thanks for waiting, guys. I am back. are searching for the curse chest. I don't think there's usually anything. No, there's not. So, oh, it's over there. Alright. I'll go back to the beginning. Ugh. I hate putting myself in a compromising position. And then have a protector shield that you don't know exists suddenly pop up on you. Those guys are just hard to hit now. They definitely needed to be up. I find that I'm a little weird at attacking them. Like, I'm not quite sure when I'm allowed to hit them and when I'm not. This is probably gonna be it. Here we go. Pop back up there right after I get this. And try to wipe some of this out. That was actually a little scarier than I thought it was going to be. And seeing that grenade dude with the golem, I'm just like, nah, let's just leave those guys alone. Feeling someone might be chasing me. Oh god. Those dudes, like, I just can't seem to hit them. They just freak me out. Okay, so there is a fragment up there, so I need to go back and grab that. Spike pit too. So let's lift the curse before we deal with that. And they're all up at that highest level. There we go. I just can't hit these guys. I guess it's kind of like failed experiment where sometimes you just have to like wait for the dodge before you can continue with whatever you're doing against them. Okay, one more fragment. I don't actually think there's anything else I needed. So at that point. Yep. And go ahead. You know, let's see. Oh god. Where did you come from? Joey Big Hands. He is my friend. He's like, don't leave me behind, friend. So yeah, we can just head on to the cavern now. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, there would be a point in the game where I will start trying to swap to a more boss-oriented build. could just take this thing right now, but I'm not gonna, because I still want ice shards for the Cavern. But that's the exact weapon we're gonna try to switch to, is the Hokuto's bow, which is just gonna amplify that bleed damage like crazy for the boss fights. And if we can get the blood sword to have bleeding causes poisoning too, the damage output is gonna be unbelievable. And we'll have to take a look at how our scroll fragments are looking too, but if I can't get an extra scroll from the fragments, I might just skip High Peak Castle too. So I'm thinking that these skeletons just can't be CC now, because they definitely can't be frozen. I don't remember them be. Oh god, that armor. They'll get you. They might be stunnable. But I don't remember them being able to be rooted either. But maybe it's just freeze and slow. I mean, they do kind of go hand in hand, so that would make sense, I suppose. We can probably start looking to drop ice armor too. It's not necessary. Ice armor is good, like all game. If we can find another skill, it might be worth doing. Cleaver actually will hit the giant's hands. They're not necessary. A little close. That's so much extra health. I'll just take it for the biome for now, but we'll... No, there's no way I'm going to take a scroll amulet. Especially if it doesn't have as much damage reduction on it. But hopefully we can find a better amulet with better colors. Hard on taking Brutality scrolls. Come on down. Elite Arbiter? My favorite. What's over here? What I'm saying is, I will come back. Oh, there's nothing over here, just this guy. I swear to the map made it look like there was something. I'm not just trying to get out of fighting the Arbiter. Just waiting for those bleed stacks that will finish the job. Hopefully. Nice, boys. Axe with bonus damage to bleeding. Could have been nice to take, but we're looking for something a little bit different. This amulet does have burn around when you die. It's pretty nice with the Hokuto's bow. If I can find one, I sure hope I can. Rigging birds. He's not going to teleport down here, though, huh? Just let him sit right in that cleaver. Overall, that would be a pretty enjoyable, comfortable-looking seat to sit in. somewhere. Only at 30 kills. I feel like I've been in here for a while. You gonna come down? I'm in. It's like I was able to just jump down there and just get away with it because Bloodsword is so fast. And we found our way to the Giant already. There's the Guardian's Haven. I'm just coming over there for the Explorer's Instinct. That's kind of bizarre. Let's go in here and snag our free goodies. Almost jumped into those spikes. Look at that thing. Look at that. Hopefully I should be getting enough bleed damage. Hopefully. If I can just find like a colorless or legendary bloodstain. Second. Dual wield bloodswords. That would have no value whatsoever, by the way. But it would be pretty funny. HP's really getting up there. Is that Inquisitor still alive? Or no, Arbiter, sorry. I just assume all annoying enemies are Inquisitors. That's kind of unfair of me to just homogenize the enemies like that. I apologize, viewers. Another dual off scroll. So we have 1 and 3, so basically they are identical, so I should actually go survival here. Using that tactics would give a little more HP. Survival will pay off if I get a different amulet later. And look at this. What a horrible setup. Oh, I finally got hit. Well, best to rip that band-aid off now. I actually didn't take any melees because of Berserker. You're not gonna come up here? He's gonna come up here, but then just turn his back to me. You can't just spawn with his back to him every time, can you? That's ridiculous. Traps. That's not what I wanted to see. Okay, but we'll come... let's go ahead and just look at the traps now. If it didn't have that affix... Covers the ground with burning oil. Awfully good. Generates a toxic cloud and spreads its own inflammable oil. Alright, I might take that one. I might. Oh, the shield. Ah, the shield again. What a horrible time to get a shield. Oh, what the? Well, whatever. And look at this. This is a much better neck. Taking a couple hits, but we actually still don't have any malice, so we can easily just grab that croissant later. Huh. How do you even get over there? Okay, no, I see it. Never mind. Way over here. All right. 26 brutality. Because I couldn't freeze him, I wasn't, or slow him, I wasn't sure I'd be able to get him killed fast enough. Here we go. Yep, this is a weapon shop. Can we find a Hokuto's bow? No dice, unfortunately. That is sad. And there's no more weapon shops in here? Oh, there's one more. There is one more. Or at least it's a shop. Will it be a weapon shop? I'm not sure. Nothing I'm interested in. A large angry bird. Alright. Goodies in here? Doesn't look like it. So can we get lucky enough to have another weapon shop? It's not a weapon shop, so we're not going to be able to have Hokuto's bow for the giant. And it looks like it means we're going to have to go through High Peak Castle, too, to try to find one, unfortunately. I guess I should have just taken that one at the beginning of the cavern. Ended up biting me in the ass for not doing it. 10% damage when you're near it, and bonus damage to bleeding is pretty good. Let's go with this thing. I'm actually thinking double turret. Maybe I can still get lucky and find one in one of these chest rooms. You never know. I have to actually fight my way to it, unfortunately. That shield does some work. Repels a lot of attacks. portable door that poisons the enemy and generates a toxic cloud. Now, how does a door poison someone? Someone put some poison on the handle? I literally don't know how that would work. There is one more treasure room. It would take a lot of luck for this to be a Hokuto's bow at this point. You never know. Unfortunately not. Alright, so I think we have everything else we need from here. So we're going to be moving on to the giant. Can I warp close? Yep, there we go. Warp close to this, take the croissant. Max out that HP. And head to the boss. So disappointed I couldn't show you guys that Hokuto's bow against the giant, but hopefully we can still find one before the Hand of the King. Do I want to reset? I have plenty of money. I'll stick with open wounds for sure, and soldier resistance. Yeah, why not? Keep open wounds, keep soldier resistance, just in case I get hit. Just in case I get hit. Never thought I'd say those words going into the giant fight. I used to be so bad at this guy. The damage is still good. Every time the bleeds fall off, you see how much of a huge chunk he takes. Oh! I can't believe I got hit by that there. Well, not flawless, but I mean, even without Hokuto's bow, that damage output was ridiculous. So as you can see, I have one scroll fragment, and unfortunately there's only 2 scroll fragments in High Peak Castle, so unless I get really lucky, I'm going to be sitting at 3. Berserker, wounds, sword resistance. And this route also makes the game longer, unfortunately, but going relatively quick, considering we did take the extra prison biome too. Maybe could have planned my route out a little bit better today. We've got a weapon shop. There it is. Starting to get a little bit worried, but we have got it. And I'm gonna stick with ice shards for now. So this is actually gonna be one fewer biome that I have to play through with Hokuto's bow. I say that like it's a terrible thing. Hokuto's bow would be pretty good in here. It would just make my damage even, burstier, and better. But not quite on the same level as ice shards. On the boss, however, you guys are gonna see some stuff. I'm really excited about it. I've been wanting to try out this build for a long time just to see how much damage it can pump out. And even without OBJs, though, it did not disappoint against the Giant. I basically had an offhand that was doing 0 damage and still just blew him up. Ooh! Joey, your hands are so big. Took a little finesse, but it wasn't bad. And by finesse, I mean cowardice. Me running away, basically. All my traps deal with them. Normally I wouldn't go for a double turret build, but right before a heavy... Like, turrets are just mostly good against bosses. But with the fact that we're about to go into a heavy boss density area, it makes some sense. Come on up. Saw your gigantic hands coming from a mile away. Okay, I was like, those demons just have a pretty big aggro radius. I accidentally took the wrong amulet. How did that happen? That is rough. What just happened to my scrolls? Well, we'll be fine. We'll have to switch it back, of course, when I get to the true final biome. We'll leave that there for now. Possibly use the old Berserker trick with it later. Maybe right now. Why not? Is he not coming? There he is. Alright. So you know that food was infected, I was able to take it because I had the Malaise prevention from Berserker. Can be very useful sometimes. Enough room for both of us up there. Keeps knocking me off. How rude. Oh my god. That's a cheese movie. Can you just walk over here? That's what I'm talking about. Man, I can't believe I accidentally sold that anyway. It's gonna suck for Hand of the King, but it'll work itself out in the end. What a ridiculous situation for me to be able to just drop into and then not take any damage and not even really come close. Ice shards. I'm just telling you, dude. They're ridiculous. Huh. He's like, what the? You're coming from that way? This guy's everywhere. But he left from the other door. Or no, I did leave from that door. Never mind. Don't mind me. did get lucky with scroll fragments. Wow. Well, that is awesome. Makes me definitely feel a little better about selling that amulet. We got another shop up here. Traps. You know what? I only want one trap, actually, so. No, we're not going to take tonic. Burning oil extra damage, and poisoned enemy extra damage, and gives more bleeding. Oh, but if I'm going to be taking a Hokuto's bow. But this thing is just going to be so good against the librarians. That's what we're going to go with. This skill is pretty great. Short cooldown, decent duration, does a good chunk of damage. Strong for melee build. It does scale with tactics too, but you kind of need to be close. Not unusable with tactics, just better with brutality. Slow made that take forever. Got to 60. Oh my god. Had a lot of friends waiting for me there. More elite to deal with, and that'll be the slasher, of course. The most fun of them all. And you know what? Let's go buy the Hokuto's bow now. Alright, I'm excited about this. So if you haven't used a Hokuto's bow before, and we're gonna unbind these because this is a ranged weapon that doesn't work in a dual bind setup. Basically what happens here is this thing, upon hitting an enemy, applies a debuff for 20 seconds that increases the damage that they take from all of your damage sources by a set amount. And it's not percent, it's like an actual DPS number. So if you've got really weak ticking dots, it applies that static number across the dot. So instead of increasing it by, like, you know, it's a small number, it increases by a percentage, it's still a small number. This increases by a flat amount, and it makes the dots hit like a freight train. And as you can see, the Bloodsword gives you a 12-second dot, so it's going to be hitting like a freight train for 12 straight seconds. We've also got a Toxic Cloud around the Flamethrower turret that's going to be hitting like a freight train, and Burning Oil, and all of those dots are going to do so much damage, but we'll still have good burst. And I did get hit by him. Well, there is food available, but that was unfortunate. Didn't burn him down quite as fast as I hoped I would. But we're fine, we're fine. Probably could have popped that lacerating aura before I went in there. Anyway, on to the throne room. After I grab these goodies, of course. Not just gonna leave goodies. The most important goodie of all, a scroll. So I will have one fewer scroll than I would have had in this fight. It'll be fine. Overall scroll count is still really high. And another lacerating aura. But this one just doesn't have the affixes. And it's actually not as high of a level either. Whatever. It's gold. It's money. I wonder if I should reroll the Hokuto's bow. No, I probably don't need to. It's got pretty good affixes. But I could reroll this now. Unfortunately, it's only a 7. It does have bonus damage to burning oil, but... I mean, the bonus damage to burning oil is so good. Let's just stick with that. I don't want to risk messing something up. Oh, no. We're going to reroll mutations. So I think I'll ditch soldier resistance for dead inside. Obviously keep open wounds. But then we'll also take adrenaline. Maybe we can get some HP back. Finish this fight with a good chunk of HP. Maybe I should have taken necromancy to drop malaise. I can always drop a little bit of malaise to the next biome if I have to, though. See how much damage we can do here. Look at that health chunk. Ah, grenade though. Just couldn't quite get around in there. Just insane damage. And that's why the Blood Sword is the true giant killer of the game. This thing slays bosses way better than it does the giant killer's job way better than the giant killer does. And simultaneously it doesn't completely suck in biomes like the giant killer does. So that was awesome. Too bad it wasn't a no-hit. It's fine. One hit. I'll take it. Reset again. We still have just so much gold. It seems way easier to spend gold in the new economy. And Berserker. Wasn't able to finish it out with max HP, but I only lost 5%. It's just such a quick kill. Oh, really? At least I still had Berserker there. Yeah, I'm gonna actually be using Lacerating or Sparing in here just so I can have it ready when I run into librarians. Don't really need anything there. Probably just keep an eye out for a weapon shop. Hopefully get a better blood sword. Or at least just a higher level blood sword. Oh no! Really need a neck. Oh well. Weird. Not bad. It's a little weird. Yeah, as you can see, you know, Hokuto's bow increases my damage output. A challenge rift this far? Unreal. Well, I'm gonna take it, but I'm gonna come back to it. The challenge rifts this late in the game hurt. But yeah, Hokuto's bow increases my damage, but I was already killing the enemies in the biomes so fast. It's not like I really needed it, and it cost me the CC that I got from my shards. That is a good amulet. There's a scroll too. So I can take that thing. Yeah. Alright. Set up well there. Extra jump in midair. We're good. It's annoying that the jump those birds do pushes you in a similar way to the jump that Jumping Hands does. It's not like when ordinary enemies teleport to you. Throw that flamethrower turret right down there, yeah. Take that, guys. How do you like that? Did that guy just fly right up into that beam and kill himself? Epic moves, dude. Still gotta find that last elite. We got a shop here too. Can I go this way? Should be able to. Oh, it's the food shop. Okay, so I will take this. Why not? Whew. Almost was a little late on activating that aura. So that's where the elite is. Okay. Activate you. I was so close to him earlier. Hokuto's bow started stacking up on those dots real quick. And he, died. Still need Explorer's Instinct. kind of hoping... Are there usually only 2 shops in here, or is there a third? Because I really wanted to find another blood sword. It looks like I might just have to finish the game with the blood sword 7. So, I mean, you've seen how much damage I'm doing anyway. Just imagine how much more it could be if this thing were a higher level. There's a chest right there. Not bad. Alright, but we're about ready to exit. I missed one? I missed one! For some reason, I thought I had both elites killed. How do I keep doing this in here? He just lives above this shop. Man, the shopkeepers in this biome just deal with some stuff. Don't even have to get near him. Which is how I prefer it to be. That is just a maintenance ours. But if there's another elite, yeah, I need to keep going for now. I'll go back to that challenge rift. Oh man, another elite. This is just dropping an item. Game knows I need next. Amulets. That is. So I guess I could have actually grabbed this before I came in here. 34. That is a big number of brutality scrolls. That freeze really saved me against that librarian right there. Oh my god. He punched me? He punched me? Well, I don't understand, but it doesn't really matter. So I guess we're just gonna get that one neck from the elites this whole time. And it ended up being a good one for damage. It could result in me being harmed in the challenge rift. But we should be fine. Forgot that I would get another neck from here. And this thing will help me survive so much better. And then I'll ditch it when I leave. Oh god! Whiffed that jump. Horribly badly. climb right back down. Thank God for these scrolls with the extra jumps on them for challenge rifts. I do not have ice armor any longer. And we just cruised anyway. Alright, let's grab you. 35 brutality. I can't wait to see how this goes. Guess I'll stop by the food shop. I can just max out my HP with basically no penalty. I don't need any skills. No, my skills are great. Almost just left one of those keys just sitting there, and then I'd be coming back later like, what's going on? Why don't I have this key? Okay. Emergency triage. Open wounds. My only concern is that my bleed bursts are going to be hitting damage cap, but I'll be activating them more frequently than once a second. So hitting damage cap like more than once a second, and also having bleeding and poison ticks going on at the same time, lacerating, or like the damage output should still be super good. Just so I don't die. Not that I think there's really any chance of that happening. It still has burning oil, it's still so good. Yeah. I could reroll this thing. But it does shoot an arrow in front. We're good. We're just going in with this. Let's not waste any more time. Because I think it's about time for my medicine. We'll see for sure in just a second here. It is time for my medicine. Okay. Holy crap. He double flasked before he even went to the next room. Oh my god. Is he on the final phase already? I dodged, oh my god. That's frustrating. I totally dodged that. Oh man, that should have been a perfect. That should have been a perfect. But my god. Did you see that? That's the most damage I've ever had against this guy by far. Alright, well, as you can see, Bloodsword is friggin' amazing. Definitely an S tier item. Insane boss damage. Good enough burst to deal with biomes. You can combine it with Ice Shards and just skate through the biomes. Combine it with Hokuto's bow and just skate through the bosses. It's awesome, and it's a ton of fun. highly, highly recommended. But anyway, that's it for the run, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by, and y'all have a good one. Think we'll probably play Tactics next time.